I just wanted to, for the media purposes, give you our speaking order. The press conference is going to begin with our U.S. Attorney, Peter McCoy, and afterwards I'll have spellings for any of these names if you need it. And there also should be in the press release. Nick Bianchi, the Assistant United States Attorney working the case, will be the next speaker. After that will be Tommy Coate, who is the U.S. Postal Inspector in charge, and then we'll have Sheriff Stephen Gardner. A representative from the family has agreed to speak to media members. It won't be part of the press conference, but afterwards, if you want to either gather in a space over here in the hall, she has said she's willing to speak to folks. We're not going to take questions until the very end. And I believe that's everything. Does anybody have any logistics questions before we get started? Okay, excellent. Yeah. There's room over here if you don't want to walk over this stuff.
Let me know when y'all come again. Your place. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peter McCoy. I'm the United States Attorney for the District of South Carolina, and I'm proud to stand here today with our state, our federal, and our local partners to bring to all of you a special announcement. Many of you know about the tragedy that's hit here, right here in Williamsburg County, right in our backyard, with Miss Pressley. And you know what happened to Miss Pressley when she was murdered doing what she does, which is working for our county, working for our state, and working for our postal service. She served this community for 22 years, and she had her life taken in her job for doing what she does, again, serving our community. And I'm here to tell you, I'm here to stand with all the folks that are behind me right now from the U.S. Attorney's Office, from the Postal Service Office, from the Solicitor's Office, the Third Circuit Solicitor's Office, from SLED, from North Charleston, the Williamsburg County Sheriff's Office. And we're here to stand together to say this will not stand in our backyard. This will not stand in our community. And we are going to do all that we can to bring these folks to justice. Now, yesterday, the grand jury returned an indictment for 3 individuals in this case. And I'm going to have the Assistant United States Attorney, Nick Bianchi, who's standing right here to my right, come up and explain to you how the grand jury process works, what happened yesterday, and what these indictments mean for these 3 defendants. But again, when I tell you, when we work together, and we have our federal, our state, and our local parties come together, there's nothing more powerful than that. And we will use every single resource we have to bring these 3 individuals to justice. That's my solemn vow to you. That's my solemn vow to this community. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to come up here today and explain this to you and to stand with these fine folks that are right here behind me. It's an honor and a pleasure to serve with them. And with that, I'll bring up Nick Bianchi, who's an Assistant U.S. Attorney in my office. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. As U.S. Attorney McCoy said yesterday afternoon, we presented our case to the grand jury in this matter, and we've got an indictment that we have filed by the grand jury. Count 1 of that indictment charges Trevor Raekwon Seward and Jerome Terrell Davis with the murder of Irene Pressley, postal carrier of the United States Postal Service, while she was engaged in her official duties. Count 2 charges Mr. Seward that same day with using a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence, that is the murder of Ms. Pressley, and in doing so, shooting Ms. Pressley with that firearm. Count 3 charges Mr. Seward and Mr. Davis with the robbery of Ms. Pressley that day. Count 4 charges Mr. Seward with being a felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition. Count 5 charges Mr. Seward, Mr. Davis, and a Ricky Jesus Rocha Barajas with being involved in a conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute and to distribute marijuana. While Mr. Seward and Mr. Davis are local to this area, Mr. Barajas lives in California. And finally, count 6 charges Mr. Davis and Mr. Barajas with using communication facilities, specifically cell phones, to facilitate the commission of their drug trafficking, that is their conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute and to distribute marijuana. Those are the counts we've Truebill returned on, and I can say that this indictment is the result of the exhaustive efforts of the United States Postal Inspection Service and their federal, state, and local counterparts, including the FBI, Williamsburg County Sheriff's Office, Williamsburg County Solicitor's Office, and SLED, among others. They left no stone unturned in this investigation, and we continue to press forward. Obviously, getting this indictment is a big step in this case. We've had plenty of big steps before this, and we know there's plenty of big steps left to come in this case. And our office, as well as all of our counterparts you see up here today, look forward to continuing this process and taking those steps to ensure that justice is attained on behalf of Ms. Pressley and her family and her friends. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Tommy Cope, the inspector in charge of the Atlanta Division of the United States Postal Inspection Service. Thank you for coming today. On September 23rd, 2019, the U.S. Postal Service rural letter carrier Irene Pressley of the Andrews, South Carolina Post Office was shot and killed while delivering mail on her route. On behalf of the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, I'm going to take a moment and again extend our condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of Irene Pressley. Irene was a dear member of our postal family. She was a beacon of light in her community, leaving a positive impact on many people's lives. She was the mail lady in the community for nearly 22 years. She is truly missed. Irene's murder is a senseless tragedy. Irene was someone's mother. She was someone's grandmother. She was someone's sister. She was someone's friend. She was a leader in her church. She was a positive influence in the community. She was a fellow colleague of many postal employees. I do not want to use the common expression that something positive has come from this tragedy because we would all much rather have Irene still be with us today. But I will briefly tell you what was done in seeking justice for Irene. When a member of our postal family is attacked, we pull out all stops to track down the perpetrator and deliver justice. In Irene's case, the task force, state, and federal law enforcement came together and worked as one to help bring justice for Irene. For 2 months, all of us law enforcement partners worked side by side, non-stop, to gather evidence and bring the murderer in off the streets. Over 25,000 investigative hours were put into this investigation so that we could deliver justice for Irene. The community came together in support of one another, showing strength and resilience while helping to deliver justice for Irene. Criminals learned that the United States Postal Inspection Service will do whatever it takes to bring justice to those that would harm the postal employee who was simply performing her job. One of the top priorities of the United States Postal Inspection Service is to protect postal employees. And when one of our postal family members is attacked, we do not rest until the perpetrator is caught. That was our goal in this case, to deliver justice for Irene. I want to thank all of our law enforcement partners who helped bring this case to a point where we will hold the actors accountable through our federal court system. That's Sheriff Stephen Gardner, the Williamsburg County Sheriff's Office, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the District of South Carolina, and to all the many other agencies who assisted us in this investigation. As we all stand here in honor of the memory of Irene Pressley, a member of our postal family, who was loved by all who crossed her path, we hope that some solace is found knowing the efforts that were made in pursuit of justice for Irene and bring some closure to all who need this remarkable work. Thank you. And, Sheriff Carter will share a few words now.
I think a lot has been said. The biggest thing that I would want to do is just to say thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you to all of the law enforcement agencies that helped us to bring justice for Miss Irene. That was a huge undertaking. Next, I'd like to thank the men and women of the Williamsburg County Sheriff's Office. They worked several days, long hours. I know they were tired. But along with that, I also like to thank the community. They bear with us too. They helped us to obtain a lot of information. Along with that, I just ask that you all continue to pray for Miss Irene Pressley's family, because that's what we need at this time. Thank you.
If there are any questions, we'll take those now. Without any questions, that concludes the press conference. Again, a representative from the family will be available to speak. And if you guys have any questions on logistics, I'll be hanging around here. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We are the family of Sister Irene Pressley, and we want to take this opportunity just to say thank you to everyone that has been working with us, with the family. And we want to thank you for your prayers, because we felt your prayers as we go through this journey, and we're going to need you as we go on. And to say a little word about Irene. Irene was a loving person. She was the sixth child of 11, and we just thank God for her. And Irene took her job seriously. She loved what she did, and she took her job, her position in the church very seriously as well. And she loved the family. And she, as much as we gave, she gave back. She was a serious person, always cared for us, and we could care for one another. And as the people intervened in her space as she did her job, they came over in her space. She didn't leave her position, but she still stood strong, because she is a strong person. And we just want to say thank you to everyone that has took a part in helping us to overcome and to deal with what has happened in our lives. Thank you. Thank you.
Christian News TY would like the family to know we love you and God bless you. Please share this video.